Podcast Day 24 tickets go on sale from West London, the latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net. Podcast Day 24, the 24-hour podcast conference in Sydney, London and New York, has put tickets on sale and announced its first speakers, including Mark Fennell, Eric Newsom and John Russo. The event is on October the 4th. The Signal Awards, the newly established awards for the podcast industry, has announced Deondrick Royster will serve as its managing director. The awards are open for entry on the Signal Awards website. Blubrry has launched podcast media kits that update daily with information that you choose. The kits are of use to media buyers rather than media, and Blubrry's implementation is automatically updated, which the company believes is a first for the industry. We'll link to an example today from our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. Libsyn Studio, the company's free podcast maker tool, is running a brief user survey to help shape the future of the product. You should watch your email if you've used the service in the past. The Publisher Podcast Summit claims it's the first conference dedicated to publisher podcasts. The conference will be held in London on October the 5th, following a successful third year of the Publisher Podcast Awards in April. Apple is promoting French creative talent across its services this July in a feature called Vive Voix. There's also a podcast that helps put a spotlight on diversity and creativity in France. The podcast is available free on Apple Podcasts, but appears to be unavailable on RSS. And Anchor podcast fraud appears to be on the rise again, with a number of high-profile podcasts discovering that there's a copy of their show on Anchor. We'll link to details on how to report them today in our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. And in podcast news, from Montreal to Mexico City, Not Lost is a delightful travel escape and an insightful look at people, local and visitors alike, trying to make sense of a constantly changing world. You can binge the entire season now. It's from Pushkin, and we thank them for their support this month. As we record this in the UK a little early, it sounds like the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson may finally be about to resign for being a massive liar and a dreadful human being. The Rest is Politics is hosted by Alistair Campbell and Rory Stewart and is a fascinating insider view of the UK political scene, and they're doing special coverage. Apples to Giraffes is a new podcast dedicated to the art of adaptation, the transformation of novels into films, movies, into comics, video games, into TV shows, and much more. In each episode, award-winning comic book creators Jonas Madden-Connor and Francois Vigneault take a deep dive into a piece of narrative art, successes and failures in previous adaptations, what they might do if they were in charge. And just after 11:30 a.m. on the morning of the 15th of January 1980, John McLennan, a 29-year-old police officer, was found dead on the floor of his police flat in downtown Kowloon in Hong Kong. He was alone, and next to him lay a police-issue revolver. Catching Worms, a Hong Kong true crime podcast, is back for a third season. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.